How are you? I'm Brit. So just to give you a little bit of background, when I'm not here doing this, I'm a psychotherapist. Actually, even when I am here doing this, I'm still a psychotherapist. That remains constant. But there's this idea in the therapy model that I use called the conceptualized self. And it's this idea of sort of this rigid identity that we create of ourselves, this story of ourselves that we sort of develop over time. And it actually is very limiting, even when it's a positive story that we create of ourselves, because we describe ourselves in certain ways and then we are limited by those ways that we've described ourselves, which leaves very little room for us to mess up or do anything different. So this poem is sort of based off of that idea. In third grade, they told me to use the limited 4 letters of my name in acrostic form and to write a poem about myself. I didn't realize that they were asking me to simplify myself and that they would later do it for me. And at age 8, simple indeed it was. Confidence building even. Identity affirming. B is for blonde, R is for radiant, I is for intelligent, and T is for ticklish, or talented. And there I was, all summed up in 4 adjectives and a Crayola drawing of a smiley girl with goldenrod hair hanging on a classroom wall for all to see. And now that I had documented the rules of being Brit and publicly posted them, I could upset myself time and again as I'd bend and break them. Now, if I am to write a Brit poem, it would be sufficiently complex, I think, for the Bowery stage. B is for bashful and baby-faced with a bit of bold, bubbly but often bitter. Biggest fears include being boring and or blameworthy. R is for revoltingly irresponsible. C, fear of being blameworthy. Risk-seeking in romance and risk-averse in nearly everything else. Reticent and reserved, but reasonably risque in the right relationship, rigid about morning routines, reflective about endings of things, and resilient amidst an acrostic poem filled with insecurities. Speaking of insecurities, I am inhibited and introverted, which make time and space for introspective and insightful, inwardly invalidating mind, though outwardly uncommonly kind, inspired by inclusive and imaginative individuals with independent ideologies and idiosyncratic qualities. And T. T is for a tender temperament, tearful at every transition, touchy-feely but hands are trembly, tongue-tied 2/3 of the time, trying to decide which thoughts are worth telling and tempted other times to take the stage and tell it all. And what about all the adjectives that don't lend themselves to B.R.I.T alliterations? Am I allowed also to be agitated and antagonistic in some ways? How about abashedly awkward, ambivalent, ambiguous, aimless? Yes, sometimes I feel confused and confidence escapes me. And can I be coy and captivating and an excellent catch while catastrophically clumsy and clueless? Has age granted me the poetic license to dance across the alphabetical spectrum? Or must I walk the line of linear Brit? Goldenrod crayon hair and stick arms, tied up by a template, inflexible in structure and intolerable of expansion. If we keep ourselves whole, we can always move around our parts in accordance with context. But cutting ourselves off at the last letter, we are held hostage only to our happiest adjectives and bound by our best days.